The radio observatory at North Point Ridge wasn't supposed to pick up anything unusual. It was an old, half-funded research station built to study background radiation. Cosmic noise, not messages. Dr. Mara Ellison worked the night shift simply because no one else wanted it. Most nights were silent, punctuated only by the hum of obsolete machines. But on the night of February 19th, something broke the static. A pulse. Not random, not natural. A structured signal. Dense, layered, mathematical. A pattern the cosmos shouldn't produce. The signal consisted of 3 repeating sequences. Mara ran them through every filter she had. The first sequence resembled a set of coordinates, but they didn't correspond to any star, planet, or point in known space. The second sequence looked like a waveform, oscillating with strange periodicity, like breathing. The third sequence was the most disturbing. When mapped to audio frequencies, it produced something chilling, a sound that resembled a human voice, but stretched, thickened, layered with vibrations too low for an animal's lungs and too high for a machine's. It didn't form words, but it had cadence, tone, and intention. She played it again, slower. Her spine tightened. It wasn't just a voice. It was speaking to her rhythm, matching her breath, aligning with her pulse, almost as if it was listening back. At 3:42 a.m., the observatory lights flickered. Mara's instruments spiked. The signal grew louder, not in amplitude, but in presence, as though it had moved closer. Her computer began translating the coordinate sequence automatically. Lines of numbers curved into spirals. Spirals formed patterns. Patterns formed shapes. Shapes that felt familiar, symmetrical, deliberate, impossible. A circle within a circle with angled arms extending outward. Not random, not mathematical. An eye. As she watched, it pulsed once. The same moment her own heartbeat stumbled. It was mimicking her again. Something vast and distant had noticed her, and now it was synchronizing. Mara stepped outside to clear her head. North Point Ridge stretched in every direction, empty and cold. Above her, the stars were painfully bright. Then one of them blinked. Not like a twinkling star. A slow, deliberate closure, like a lid. A slit of darkness opened along the sky. Not a cloud, not a shadow. A fault line in the heavens, splitting open as though the night sky were thin skin. The observatory antenna behind her began turning on its own, slowly, deliberately, until it pointed directly at the widening tear. The signal surged through her radio. The voice-like sound returned. Only now, it formed 3 syllables. Deep, layered, harmonic. They sounded like her name. Her breath froze. The signal wasn't from a distant star. It was coming from the opening in the sky itself. Something on the other side could see her. She ran back inside. The screens were covered in spirals, lines, and fractal patterns. Growing, shifting. Some part of her realized they weren't just symbols. They were instructions. How to open something. How to widen it. How to invite it through. The observatory vibrated. Metal groaned. The air tasted metallic, like blood on a battery. The signal climbed until her ears rang. Her vision fuzzed at the edges. Shapes formed in the periphery. dark silhouettes writhing inside the static of her monitors. Not monsters, not creatures. Figures shaped like distortions, as if reality itself was folding around something trying to enter. The voice whispered again, more clearly, "Ma-Ra, open." She tried to pull the plug from the console. The moment her fingers touched the cable, she felt something inside her skull answer the signal, like her mind wasn't fully her own. The observatory lights dimmed. Something stepped through the static. Mara woke up outside. Snow covered the ground around her. The observatory was silent, dark, cold. She staggered to her feet and looked up. The slit in the sky was gone. Almost. A faint hairline crack still shimmered across the stars, like a healed wound that had only closed on the surface. Her radio handset crackled. A final pulse whispered through the static. Not her name this time. Something worse. Coordinates. New ones. Not pointing to the sky. Pointing to Earth. Pointing to locations. Many locations. Dozens. Hundreds. The signal hadn't found Mara by accident. It had used her. And now it was finding others. The handset crackled one last time. A whisper soft enough to sound like a memory. Begin.